Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the thrilling and unpredictable world of Genoa City. Today is a fantastic day to unravel the darkest secrets and most shocking betrayals currently rocking our favorite families. Grab a comfortable seat and prepare yourselves, because the incoming drama is absolutely explosive, and you will not want to miss a single second of this deep dive. The sprawling, shadowy underbelly of Genoa City has always been a breeding ground for treacherous alliances and deadly secrets, but the current predicament ensnaring Joey Armstrong threatens to shatter the very foundation of his existence. Joey is a man living on borrowed time, suffocated by the crushing weight of a sinister conspiracy that is slowly eating away at his sanity. The ghost of Doug continues to haunt his every waking moment, not as a mere memory, but as a ticking time bomb of legal and moral ruin. Joey's meticulously orchestrated plot to end Doug's life was supposed to be a flawless execution of a dark agenda, a secret buried so deep that it would never see the light of day. However, the universe has a cruel sense of irony, and the one person who holds the key to his absolute destruction is none other than his own flesh and blood. Heather Armstrong, a woman whose own past is riddled with complex obsessions and hidden traumas, has become the ultimate wildcard in Joey's desperate bid for survival. The sibling dynamic, once perhaps a bond of shared history, has mutated into a venomous hostage situation where Heather wields the truth like a loaded weapon aimed directly at Joey's head. To understand the sheer magnitude of Joey's terror, one must delve into the psychological labyrinth of a man who knows he is one whisper away from a prison cell. Every time his phone rings, every time a shadow shifts in the corner of his luxurious surroundings, Joey's heart hammers against his ribs in a frantic rhythm of panic. The fear is not just about losing his freedom, it is about the complete and utter annihilation of his reputation, his standing, and his life as he knows it. Heather's threat to expose the murderous plot against Doug is not an idle boast. She has the pieces of the puzzle, the damning knowledge that could prompt the authorities to tear Joey's world apart, piece by piece. He lives in a perpetual state of hypervigilance, analyzing every word Heather speaks, searching for any indication that she has finally pulled the trigger on his demise. This suffocating paranoia has transformed Joey from a calculated opportunist into a cornered, desperate animal. And as history has proven time and time again in this city, a cornered animal is capable of committing the most unspeakable atrocities to ensure its own survival. Driven to the absolute brink of madness by this looming threat, Joey has resorted to the only tactic he believes can grant him a modicum of control over his spiraling reality: surveillance. He has enlisted the services of his ruthless and efficient henchman, Randy Parker, to become his eyes and ears in the shadows. Randy is no stranger to the dark tasks assigned by desperate men, and his current mission is as delicate as it is critical. Joey's instructions to Randy were explicit, cold, and devoid of any brotherly affection. He demanded that Randy shadow Heather's every move, document her every interaction, and uncover exactly who she is communicating with behind closed doors. Joey needs to know if Heather is preparing to leverage her knowledge about Doug to the police, or, perhaps even more terrifyingly, to someone within their immediate social circle who could use it to destroy him. Randy's relentless pursuit of Heather through the winding streets and upscale establishments of Genoa City sets the stage for a catastrophic collision of secrets. But who exactly is Heather Armstrong, and why is she so uniquely positioned to bring down her own brother? Heather is a woman wrapped in an enigma, carrying a profound and turbulent history that makes her actions incredibly unpredictable and highly dangerous. Fans of the show are acutely aware of Heather's deeply troubling past connection with Andre Richardson. Her history with Andre is not merely a fleeting romance, it is a dark, obsessive saga marked by relentless stalking, severe emotional manipulation, and a shocking, buried secret involving a pregnancy from years ago. Heather's fixation on Andre and his current life with Danny Dupree has consumed her, driving her to extreme lengths to insert herself back into his narrative. This obsessive nature makes her a highly volatile custodian of Joey's murderous secret. She is not operating on logic, reason, or familial loyalty. She is driven by her own chaotic emotional needs and her desperate desire to reclaim what she believes is rightfully hers. The terrifying intersection of Heather's obsession with Andre and her knowledge of Joey's plot against Doug is what keeps Joey awake at night, staring at the ceiling in cold, paralyzing sweats. Joey is acutely aware of the tangled, toxic web that connects his sister to Andre Richardson. He knows that Heather has been stalking Andre, hovering on the periphery of his life with Danny, waiting for the perfect moment to strike and dismantle their happiness. The burning question that consumes Joey's every thought is whether Heather will use the explosive secret about Doug as leverage in her twisted psychological games with Andre. If Heather were to confess Joey's murderous intentions to Andre, the fallout would be apocalyptic. Andre, who is currently navigating his own labyrinth of secrets and trying to protect his life with Danny, would suddenly possess the power to obliterate Joey completely. The mere thought of Andre Richardson holding the key to his imprisonment is enough to push Joey over the edge of reason. As Randy Parker meticulously tails Heather, blending seamlessly into the background of Genoa City's bustling environment, the tension escalates to a fever pitch. Randy is a consummate professional, observing the minute nuances of Heather's behavior, noting her erratic movements and her intense, singular focus. He watches as she navigates the city, her demeanor fluctuating between calculated determination and frantic, unhinged anxiety. Randy's surveillance is a ticking clock, leading to an inevitable and shocking discovery that will alter the landscape of multiple lives. The audience is left on the absolute edge of their seats, wondering what exactly Randy will witness from his hidden vantage point. Will he catch Heather in a moment of vulnerability, perhaps leaving a trail of physical evidence that Joey can use to neutralize her? Or will Randy stumble upon a secret rendezvous that confirms Joey's worst, most paralyzing fears? The suspense is palpable, thick with the promise of a revelation that will change everything. Imagine the sheer, heart-stopping drama if Randy's surveillance leads him to a secluded, lit corner of the city, only to witness Heather Armstrong coming face-to-face with Andre Richardson. The visual of these two characters, bound by a dark and traumatic past, meeting in secret would be a monumental shockwave for the viewers. Randy, hidden in the shadows, would watch intently as the dynamic between Heather and Andre unfolds. Is it a violent confrontation? Is it a moment of twisted, manipulative nostalgia? Or is it the exact scenario Joey has been dreading, a transaction of secrets where Heather trades her brother's freedom for a moment of Andre's attention? If Randy captures photographic evidence, or overhears fragments of a conversation linking Joey's name to the plot against Doug, the balance of power will shift in a violent, uncontrollable manner, leaving Joey entirely at the mercy of his enemies. When Randy inevitably reports his findings back to Joey, the reaction will be nothing short of explosive. Hearing that his sister is actively engaging with Andre Richardson, the very man whose involvement could spell his absolute doom, will shatter the last remaining fragments of Joey's self-control. The paranoia will morph into a blinding, all-consuming rage. Joey will realize that his strategy of simply keeping an eye on Heather is catastrophically insufficient. The threat is no longer dormant, it is active, breathing, and moving aggressively against him. The realization that Heather might have already spilled the secrets about Doug to Andre will force Joey into a corner where only the most extreme, irreversible measures seem viable. He will no longer view Heather as a problematic sibling. He will view her as a lethal enemy combatant who must be neutralized at any and all costs. This brings us to the most chilling and terrifying question of all. Will Joey Armstrong cross the ultimate moral boundary and develop intentions to murder his own sister? The psychological descent required to contemplate sororicide is profound, but Joey is a man staring down the barrel of a life sentence and the total destruction of his legacy. In his twisted, panic-stricken mind, eliminating Heather might appear as the only definitive way to bury the truth about Doug forever. The internal monologue of a man justifying the murder of his sister would be a masterclass in dark storytelling. Joey would undoubtedly rationalize the horrific act, convincing himself that Heather's instability and her willingness to betray him leave him with absolutely no other choice. He would view it not as a cold-blooded murder, but as an act of absolute, necessary self-preservation. If Joey decides to proceed down this dark and bloody path, the mechanics of his plot against Heather will be a focal point of intense, agonizing drama. He cannot simply eliminate her in a straightforward manner. The death of Heather Armstrong would immediately draw the intense scrutiny of the Genoa City Police Department, and Joey would be the prime suspect from the very beginning. Therefore, Joey would have to orchestrate a scenario that looks like a tragic accident, or, more deviously, pin the blame on someone else entirely. Could he use Heather's known obsession with Andre to frame him for her demise? Or perhaps he could manipulate the situation so that Heather's death appears to be a tragic consequence of her own erratic behavior. The meticulous planning of this sinister act would showcase the true depths of Joey's villainy. transforming him into one of the most dangerous figures currently operating in the city. The implications of Joey's potential actions extend far beyond his immediate survival. If Heather is targeted, or if she manages to expose the truth before Joey can silence her, the ripple effects will crash violently into the lives of Andre Richardson and Danny Dupree. Andre is already fighting desperately to keep his past with Heather hidden from Danny, fearing that the revelation of Heather's previous pregnancy and relentless stalking will destroy his current happiness. If Andre becomes entangled in Joey's murderous web, either as a confidant to Heather's secrets or as a scapegoat for Joey's crimes, his life with Danny will face an unprecedented crisis. Danny, who has already organized public confrontations to demand the truth, will find herself thrust into a deadly game of survival where the stakes are life and death. There is a profound, tragic irony in Joey's current situation. In his desperate, frantic attempt to cover up the plot to kill Doug, he is actively generating a new, even more horrifying crime. The cycle of violence and deception is self-perpetuating, trapping Joey in a nightmare of his own making from which there is no peaceful awakening. Every step he takes to secure his freedom only binds him tighter to the darkness. His reliance on henchmen like Randy Parker, his willingness to spy on his own blood, and his serious contemplation of murder all point to a man whose soul has been entirely corrupted by fear and ambition. The viewers are left to watch in morbid fascination as Joey navigates this treacherous landscape, wondering if there is any line he will not cross to save himself. As the tension mounts to an unbearable degree, the upcoming episodes promise to deliver a climax that will leave audiences breathless. The collision course between Joey's desperate paranoia, Heather's volatile obsessions, Randy's shadowy surveillance, and Andre's hidden past is set to detonate with earth-shattering force. Will Randy's discoveries push Joey over the edge into becoming a familial murderer? Will Heather realize the mortal danger she is in before it is too late? Or will her obsession blind her to her brother's lethal intentions? Or will Joey's sinister intentions manifest into a shocking act of violence that forever alters the fabric of Genoa City? The stakes have never been higher, and the moral boundaries have never been so completely obliterated. We are witnessing the unraveling of a man and the potential destruction of a family, all orchestrated under the heavy, suffocating shroud of a deadly secret. Prepare yourselves, because the fallout from Joey Armstrong's reign of terror is going to be absolutely legendary, and the echoes of his decisions will be felt for years to come.